And welcome to my assembly. This week is the 30-30 week. In line with the Dubai Fitness Challenge, there'll be a range of activities this week to really push on to the end of the 30-30 Fitness Challenge. Thank you to everyone that's been involved with the Steppy competitions, those that have submitted their 1 kilometre times to Mr. Garrett, and if you haven't yet, there's still time. My assembly today is titled 1%, and I'd like to explain to you how you can apply just 1% a day to improve your life, to achieve your goals. First, let's look at money. 1% of 100 dirhams. 100 dirhams you'd be quite pleased with. 1% if I just gave you a dirham, you wouldn't. Think about the amount of times you've just discarded loose change or left it on the side, not worried about it. Some people think about this and they think about the percentages. They think about saving it for something to invest in and something to buy. Over time, 1% really adds up. Let's look at Eliud Kipchoge, who recently broke the 2-hour barrier for the marathon. 1:59.40, 42.2 kilometers, 1% of that being 422 meters. To put that into greater context for you, that's around 1.5 laps of our running track on the sports field. You guys do that for your warm-up. This is what Kipchoge was trying to improve to break that 2-hour marathon. That was the slightest of margins. To develop that further, 1% of that 2 hours is just 72 seconds. He had to find 72 seconds somewhere. In fact, it was even less than that in reality. 1:59.40, just 20 seconds under the barrier, less than 1/3%. Everything had to be perfect. The weather, the shoes the athletes wore, their diet, their physical condition and preparation for years, the warm-up before the event, what course they were on, how flat was it, the aerodynamics. Just look at the formation of these athletes here, reducing the air resistance for Kipchoge in the white vest, just to get out that less than 1% to help him achieve one of the greatest feats in running ever. In football, we now have technology that creates the smallest of margins and highlights them. We live in a world where the percentages really count. You can now be offside with a wrist, a ball, has it crossed the line or not? These percentages really count, and this is the world that you're growing up in. So how does this apply to you? Well, like I've just said, it's the world you'll grow up in. It's more competitive than it's ever been. Percentages, the 1%, could be the difference between winning and losing. It could be the difference between getting an interview for a job and not, and then even getting the job or not. And it could also be the difference in your situation between getting a 7 or a 6 on an exam or an assessment, which could later influence the amount of opportunities you have, whether it be university or otherwise. Percentages count, and what you do is earning the percentages. So let's look at the theory of 1% a day. Sounds easy. Set a goal and just get 1% a day better. However, it really isn't easy. It's much easier to be complacent, to cruise, just to be happy where you are and plateau in life. Being reflective, critical, focused on a goal is really difficult, and you have to do it day in and day out. But let's say we set our goal, and day 1, we got that little bit better. 5 days in, you may become slightly frustrated. You've dedicated time to being better. However, you can't really notice the differences yet. You might not see the improvement. But just stick at it. This is the early days. 30 days on, you'll notice a significant improvement. You're now 30% better than what you were at the beginning. Imagine if you hadn't started. You'll now feel more motivated. You will want to sacrifice more to achieve more towards your goal. You'll dedicate more time and more energy. And consider the people you might be competing with, whether it be in sport or academics or anywhere else in life. If they're not doing 1% a day, it won't be long until you're leading the way. Let's look at a school year. 180 days that you spend at school, surrounded by teachers and friends that all want you to do well and are all trying to support you achieve your goals. In those 180 days, you could be almost twice the person you were on day one. You may have achieved several goals. In fact, I'm confident that you would have done. You might have raised your bar now. It's even higher than it's ever been before. And you will now be setting goals and targets that previously you never thought possible. And this is because you've made small gains every day. You have to repeat this process. It has to be every day. You have to commit to it when things get frustrating and difficult, when you're tired and fatigued, when you have setbacks. Mr. Wood did an assembly recently talking about the path to success and how often people think it's linear, when indeed it isn't. Committing to the 1% will keep you on a good trajectory. And then through success, you will create better habits that will lead to even further success in future. Now give yourself that 1%. That 1% is the key to your success and your achievement in whatever areas of life you decide. However, you've got to earn that key. It is not given for free. Set your goals today, whether it be to do 100 pull-ups at the end of the year, read a certain amount of books, become an expert on a certain topic, be able to run a particular distance or in a particular time, learn a new language, play an instrument or a piece of music that you've been thinking about for a while but consider it that little bit too challenging. Just break it down into 1%. Just learn a little bit of it. Be deliberate, be focused. And just focus on being that 1% better and stick to it. Today's assembly has been inspired by a young man completing an Ironman. If you're not sure what an Ironman is, it is one of the most grueling physical tasks on the planet, involving a run, a swim, and a bike. I'll let the video explain more.
We wanted to end tonight with a story of strength, endurance, and a 21-year-old Florida man's heart of iron. Chris Nikic has spent 21 years defying the odds.
His first Olympic race.
Chris has Down syndrome, but he's never let that slow him down. Every day he vows to be 1% better.
Much better.
A concept he learned from his father, Nick.
You wake up every day thinking, how do I get just a little bit better today than I was yesterday?
One more push-up, one more lap, one more mile. His motto?
Just do it.
You just do it.
You can't, listen to doctors.
For Chris, it was never about his disability. It was about making the impossible possible. Buy a car, become a homeowner, marry a pretty blonde like his mom, and complete an Ironman. A grueling 140-mile race that includes swimming, biking, and running in one day.
This is normal for us.
The Special Olympics paired him with veteran Ironman Dan Grieb. The two are now best buddies.
You have to earn it. And it's 140 miles of blood, sweat, and tears.
Go faster.
At mile 80, an inspirational pep talk.
You're done with 2 out of 3. You're almost an Ironman.
Chris finished the race in 16 hours and 46 minutes. Making history as the first Ironman finisher with Down syndrome.
You know, his low expectations for him and everyone that followed behind him are now forever gone.
You need to set big dreams and big goals. It's the only way you're going to figure out what you're really made of.
What an inspiration, right? Well, guess this. Chris plans to compete in the World Ironman next year and the Special Olympics in 2022. So go, Chris.
What an inspiration. 16 hours and 46 minutes of grueling physical exercise. He's proven what we can do when we set our minds to it and when we apply the 1% rule. Recently in PE, some of you have been asked to do a 12-minute run, and it's been a massive challenge. But really, it's all in our heads. We've got to set ourselves high expectations. We have to dream big, and we have to set big goals. It's fine to do that. Just break it down into the percentages and work towards it day in, day out. This week, you can look forward to some Classroom Olympics in form time, a sports inspiration quiz on Tuesday from Miss Jones, and then the Sports Society Assembly on Thursday. You also, I'm sure, are very excited and ready for the House Endurance Challenge. It will pale in comparison to doing a full Ironman, but we know the amount of effort that you guys put in for your houses and for your fellow classmates is outstanding, and you really do leave it all out there. I hope you've enjoyed today's assembly, and I'll see you on the sports field.